I don't think that people really understand why that child lost his head. I mean, they understand that Israel killed him, but the overpressure from the bomb dropping, so that people understand this, the brutality. When a bomb drops in such close proximity, there's something called overpressure. The amount of air and the amount of pressure that that air escapes from that area of that strike is so massive that that small frame of the child is rattled so much that their rib cage collapses, their lungs, the alveoli inside of their lungs burst, and there's no place for the pressure to escape. So it has to go to the path of least resistance, and that's your eyes, your ears, your nose, and your mouth. And when the pressure is so much, your head explodes, as you saw that child's head explode. And again, I highlight this because I think it's important to understand that that's not accidental. That strike took place in the middle of the night. As you showed in that video in the beginning, where you can actually see each person and count, Israel had a video exactly like that, that showed them how many people were in those tents, how many people were in the area that they were about to strike, and they still decided to drop a bomb. And the question becomes, you're no longer in the defense, you're in the offense. Because if there are not rockets and missiles flying from that area, you don't strike. You don't strike. You just don't strike. And if there are rockets and missiles flying from that area, proportionality must exist, and you have to decide, is this threat substantial to my current forces on the ground? The answer to that is no. Is the collateral damage around this strike worth the actual ramifications that we see come out now? The answer to that is no. So you do not strike. At any other case, Greg, you and I, the commander on the ground, the sensor operator, the pilot, the JAG who approved everything, would all be in Leavenworth. Mm-hmm. We would all be strung up on charges, in our best dress, standing tall, because there is no legal capacity that we can honestly say that that's a strike that should have been done. You can't sit here and just say it's a war for everything, because even in war there are rules.
Genocide. Noun. The systematic killing of substantial numbers of people on the basis of their ethnicity, religion, political beliefs, social status, or other particularities. Genocide. Verb. To commit genocide against, to eliminate, a group of people completely.
Gaza is a total disaster. If you can think of something bad that is happening in the world, it's happening in Gaza or to people from Gaza. The things that I saw there that really stood out or really impacted me and made me realize what's actually going on were a few. Number one was the malnutrition and starvation, which is deliberate. That's perfectly obvious. Even American senators are giving speeches saying that it's deliberate. The second thing was the targeting of children with gunfire. That I was not expecting to see. Actually, I knew how many children had been killed. I knew about the massive killing in general, but I just assumed it was all from bombings. But that doesn't explain children getting shot in the head. And definitely not every day. I mean, literally every day I was there, I saw a child shot in the head. That's not an accident. That's deliberate targeting of children for death. That's murder. That is not something that my government should be supporting. That the United States government should not be funding this. Benjamin Netanyahu famously said, if the Americans cut off arms, then we'll fight with our fingernails. Okay, good. You go do that. Go enjoy fighting with your fingernails. Leave my bombs and my guns and my money and my prestige and my government and my people out of it. That's what I would say.
I've seen a whole spectrum of injury patterns inflicted by Israel on Palestinian civilians in Gaza. The injury patterns I've seen most consistently are things like crush injuries as a result of Israeli airstrikes on homes, Between 60 to 70% of those injured and those who make it to the hospital are actually children. I can tell you that I have seen injuries that indicate deliberate targeting of children and deliberate targeting of civilians. So I've seen things like gunshot wounds to the abdomen of children, to the chest. I have documented evidence of gunshot wounds to the extremities of babies. Your priority is saving civilian lives and minimizing civilian casualties, then your responsibility as an American citizen is to advocate for an arms embargo against Israel. I think this is a no-brainer for the American political elite, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, Green Party, Libertarian, it does not matter. The right thing to do is to stop arming Israel.
Thank you for this opportunity to testify before you today.
Forbid the bombing of densely populated areas. Stop supporting the genocide and ethnic cleansing of the people of Gaza. Cease fire now. Save the children of Gaza.
We're standing up for our interests and values, not shrinking back. Not in the face of Russia's aggression against Ukraine. Not in the face of an intensifying strategic competition in the Indo-Pacific and around the world.
If the witness will suspend, and I ask that everyone again respect this hearing, we will suspend until the room is cleared.
Is calling for a ceasefire. Shame on you all.
Our diplomacy, our development must work hand in hand.
Committee will suspend, and again, I appreciate that people feel passionately about these issues. I would ask that you respect our witnesses and our committee members and allow the American people to hear their testimony.
Come on, I'm an Army colonel, I'm a former diplomat, I resigned on that war in Iraq that you talked about. That was a terrible thing, and what we're doing right now in supporting Israel's genocide of Gaza is a terrible thing too. Palestine has to go! All the walls have to go! Palestine has to go! All the walls have to go!
If I Must Die by Rifat Alaria, November the 1st, 2023. If I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. If I Must Die by Rifat Alaria, November the 1st, 2023. If I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale. If I Must Die by Rifat Alaria, November the 1st, 2023. If I must die, you must live to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale.